Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So in today's tutorial video, I'm going to be sharing with us how to draft and half scale bodice. So if this is what you're interested in, kindly stick around and let's get right into it. It's your girl OJB Fashion Style. Using our white pattern paper, I went ahead to fold it in two, as you can see. And then from the very top of our pattern paper, I'm going to be drafting our starting line / shoulder line. So from this line now, we'll be taking our shoulder to shoulder measurement. So next to our starting line would be our bust line measurement. Okay, so from my shoulder line to my bust line measurement is 10 inches. That dot there, which is an indication for my bust line, is where I'm going to be ruling across a straight line. So next to my bust line would be my waist measurement. Now from the bust line, we're going to be going up by 2 inches. So this is going to serve as our chest line measurement. So after that, I went ahead to label them. So on our starting line, we'll be taking our shoulder to shoulder measurement. So mine is 15 inches. I divided it by 2 and it gave me 7.5. Okay, so that's the indication I'm making there. And then I'll simply go ahead and connect it to my bust line with my rule. So I went a little bit beyond my bust line. I'll just cancel that out now. So this is where we're going to be drafting our armhole from. Next will be our neckline pattern. So it's a simple round neckline pattern with the measurement of 3 inches wide and 3 inches depth. Okay, so if you are to use your free hand, it is always advisable to draw your square shape first before drafting your curve. So I'm using my straight rule to connect the point. So this is my square shape. I'll just go ahead now to draft my round neckline pattern using my French curve. Okay, so after that, I simply drafted my shoulder slope by removing 1 inch, okay, from the side there, and then I connected it to the point at the curve. So that's it for our shoulder slope. Now from the shoulder slope, I'm going to be getting the midpoint of our armhole depth. Okay, so mine is 3.5 inches, and then I went in by half of an inch from the midpoint there, as this will enable me draft my curve for my armhole. So before that, I took the measurement for my bust circumference, which is 40 inches divided by 4. It gave me 10 inches, and then I added an extra 1.5 inch to it before connecting all these points using my French curve. So now we're going to be taking our nipple to nipple measurement on our bust line. So for mine, it's 8 inches, but I divided it by 2 and then added half of an inch to it. So the measurement I'm taking now is 4.5. And then I'll also be taking the same measurement on my waistline. So I'll simply be connecting both points using my straight rule. And then on my waistline, I'm going to be adding half of an inch on both sides of the line. Okay, so this will serve as our dart. So on the chest line is our measurement for our bust circumference divided by 4, and then I added 1.5 inch seam allowance to it. So for our waistline measurement, I divided it also by 4. Mine was 32 divided by 4 to give me 8. And then I added an extra 1.5 inch seam allowance to it. But before that, this 1 inch dart that was removed was added. So that's the point I'm making now. I'll simply be using my curve to connect all the points on the side of our pattern that we have drafted, and afterwards I'll simply go ahead and cut it out. So this is what we're going to be using to draft the back. So the difference will be the neckline and then also the zip allowance. Okay, but for this particular half scale bodice, we're going to be cutting out our sweetheart neckline. And for that, from the chest line, I'll be going in by 1 inch. So this point now is 1 inch, and then I'll be using my curve to draft my sweetheart neckline. Okay, so it's a simple pattern, and if you do not have this curve, you could use your free hand. So I just did the connection there, and then I flipped it over to finish that point over there. So this is the basic pattern for a sweetheart neckline. I'll go ahead now and cut it out. Okay, so this is basically it for a half scale body pattern, and then also for a sweetheart neckline pattern. So this is what I used to cut out on my fabric. I cut out fabric for the front part and also for the back. So you could see a portion I left there for my zip allowance, and then this would be for the front and the other is for the back. So on this front fabric, you could see that I left about half an inch on the top and then also half an inch at the base. Okay, so that is basically it for the drafting of our half scale bodies and then our sweetheart neckline. I'll be seeing us on the next one.